So I'll be the first to say, decisions are hell. Coming from the overthinker, right?
Join the party.
Running a business, is there really such a thing as overthinking? You have to take all those considerations, right? You have to think through those. Really the answer to that. You really is it possible to overthink?
As strange as this may sound coming from an attorney, I think it is possible. There are times where, yes, take your time, be strategic, really think through everything. And then there are times, I've had consultations before with, I've got this amazing business idea. I am so excited. Great. Let's get started. Ooh, hold on. What are we holding on for? Well, I got to finish the business plan. I got to build the website. I got to get the domain name. I got to get the social medias. I got to get like 6 months of marketing together. I need to save up, 10 times the amount of my startup costs. And then eventually you just don't do anything.
Well, that's true. But, weigh that on the flip side of, well, did you think about this? I mean, we agreed this plan is never done. So, did you do your market research? Did you find this competitor? Okay, this is what happens. I go in a circle. Let it go your fault.
Oh, my fault?
Yes.
I don't know if we should drink to that one.
Why not?
All right. I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna break usual kind of flow. I want everybody to pull up a seat at the bar. I want to know in the comments who's right. Decisions are hell and it's all the lawyer's fault, or decisions are hell and somehow or another it's marketing's fault. Let me know in the comments.
Please do. Please do. We gotta blame somebody.
We gotta blame somebody. Absolutely.
Welcome to Executive Floor.
Hey, the bar is open. I love it.
Me too. The bar is open. I'm Karen Sullivan, keeping you insane and scalable.
And I'm Maritza Shay Nelson, trying to keep you out of legal trouble because God knows when it comes to running a business, there's a lot of legal stuff that can come back to bite you.
And besides, she's friends with me, so she's got her work cut out for her.
Karen alone might come back to bite you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So today, because we do know a good decision when we see it.
These are a good decision.
These are a good decision. And so we're doing a double episode. And we're doing Dead Man's Boots again. So shout out to High West Distillery. Their signature cocktail recipe in the notes. Find it. You'll be glad you did.
It was so good I had to ask our husband / our bartender to pour us another one.
Absolutely. So life is like that sometimes. Some things you overthink and some things you don't. Where do we go with that?
As the saying goes, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And when you are a business owner, you got to wear all the hats, including the crown and the janitor's hat and everything in between. And that means that I think for both of us, we've got to help clients make decisions.
Yes, we do. And not every hat fits. We were talking earlier, well,
last episode.
No, actually it was in between episodes, I think, or somewhere. Anyway, my phrase of the week is zone of genius. And I don't know if I have one. What does that mean? And again, I think we could do an entire commentary on what is a zone of genius and how do you operate in it. But I think anybody who starts a business has an area, multiple areas. In many cases, you have to have multiple areas. Visualize those with hats. So those hats fit. Multiple hats will fit, different styles, whatever. Really going off the deep end with this metaphor, but you can have multiple hats that fit. What's hard, and I would argue impossible, is for all of those business hats to fit.
That is absolutely fair. I think we talked in one of the prior episodes about growing your staff, scaling, and that pressure and everything, and whether or not that's something you actually want to do, right, and what it looks like if you do or you don't. And I think that's a good point you're making is, what are those hats that absolutely either don't fit, look terrible on you, you hate wearing, whatever the case might be, that you can say, hey, let me delegate this to somebody who actually enjoys that, looks good in that, wants to
Right.
wear that hat.
Perfect. And I'll take that metaphor one step further and say those things tend to change over time, because not only does fashion, your environment change,
Yeah.
comfort zone changes, but also the needs change, comfort level, some of those things. So where you might not, again, case in point, might not be comfortable analyzing a P&L right now, 5 years from now, 5 months from now, maybe you do become more comfortable with that. Hats can change, but you still have, somebody has to wear them. And I think we'd all agree in every business, those hats exist. Somebody has to wear them.
Yeah.
And how do you make that work?
I think it's fair to say some of it is figuring out, like you said, what's in your zone of genius, right? What are those things that you're really good at, you really like to do? Sometimes you may find, especially if you're a newer entrepreneur, sometimes those things may surprise you. I tell people all the time when they're starting a new business, I don't care what kind of business you're starting, congratulations, your new job is marketing.
Yes.
And so you may find that you really enjoy wearing that hat. You may also find that you absolutely hate it, in which case I'd encourage you to call Karen, right? But figuring that out and saying, okay, I love the marketing, but that means I don't have time to do X. So what am I going to do? Or I hate the marketing, I'm giving that to Karen. That's going to free me up to do more of what I do love, which is why. So striking, I think, that balance can be really important. But if you just get stuck in, I hate the marketing, I don't ever want to make a decision, I'm never going to finish the business plan, then you're never going to launch. Or if you're already existing, you're never going to grow or achieve whatever it is that goal is for your business.
I do typically encourage owners that I work with, can't wait until things are perfect. You have to move forward, because arguably every generation says things are like they used to be. But things are changing faster and faster. It's a snowball rolling downhill.
Yeah.
And things are changing faster. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. So you can't really wait. The real hard part is knowing how much thought to give something, how long to wait, and when to move. And that's a really hard balance to achieve. I encourage your clients to deal with that.
Oh, that's a good question. I think on the legal side of things, I often tell people, at least for me, right? I'm the kind of attorney, I'm going to give you what I call the textbook answer and the real world answer, right? Like textbook, this is what they taught us in law school. This is what the law currently says. This is what you should or absolutely should not be doing. And because I work with small businesses, in the real world, here's what's actually going to happen, right? I can talk until I'm blue in the face about why you should not make everybody that you come across an independent contractor. And at the end of the day, I'd say at least 80% of my clients are going to do it anyway, right? So now we can have a real world conversation of, okay, gotta warn you, if you get caught, it's a lot like getting caught on the highway speeding. It doesn't matter that everybody else is speeding around 270. You were the one that got caught. You're screwed, right? You're not going to win that case. You're just wrong. But there's also a chance that you won't get caught. And here are the things that we can do to mitigate some of that risk and say, hey, here are things we could put in your contract so that maybe we can make this person look a little bit more like an independent contractor. Here are the things I don't want in your document so that you're not treating this person like an employee. Again, here are the risks, right? I'm not saying it's the textbook answer. It's not 100% right. It's not foolproof. But if you're going to do it anyway, this is the best we can make of the situation. And I think that's a key thing with working with small businesses.
Yeah.
I'm sure you see some of the same thing on the marketing side, where there are probably things you'd really like your clients to do from a marketing perspective. And they're going to tell you, that's not in the budget. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to wait till I finish this other major project. I don't know, fill in the blank.
Exactly what happens. The long and the short of it, it's actually one of the things that I struggle to get my team members to fully understand. Business owner, the buck stops here.
Yeah.
It is your decision. It's your decision whether to fall within the law or outside the law. take a risk, not take a risk, do the thing, not do the thing. It's your decision what kind of business you want, how you want to run it, who you want to work with. And now we're back to decisions or help. So you can't give that up because inherent in that is in the job description. You have to make some of those decisions.
But I don't know about you, but I tell people all the time, I absolutely love what I do. I don't think you could pay me. In fact, I know you could not pay me to go back to work for somebody else. And at the same time, I work harder now than I ever have before in my life at any job I've ever had.
Sure.
And part of being the business owner and wearing that crown is by the end of the day, you are at least mentally exhausted.
Oh my gosh.
From all the decisions that you've had to make, all the client problems and fires you've had to deal with, right? All of that weighs a toll, even if you're not in, say, a construction industry. It's not a physical exhaustion, but mentally you're just wiped out.
Yeah.
That is part of what you're signing up for when you say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and be my own boss.
It absolutely is. I don't think anybody really realizes that until now. We'll also say that more and more the trend is employees don't want to be employees, they want to be independent contractors because they want some control over life. So it's harder and harder to be that employer. But it is difficult. You're absolutely right. You cannot make the decisions.
Yeah.
So, fun story. I saw, because I spent too much time doom scrolling, sitting in my doctor's office today. I entertained myself online and saw this meme today. It was a story, and I love this story, that Winston Churchill actually joined the bricklayers union. He would go home to his estate in England, wherever this was, and his after-hours stress relief was bricklaying.
Huh.
And it was serious bricklaying. I don't know what he built, whatever. But the story behind it was he knew then what people don't understand now, or what took psychologists many years to figure out. People who make their living thinking, it's really hard to rest the brain, right?
Oh my God. You can have a shrink or a therapist on to cover this in 6-7 episodes probably.
Absolutely. Let us know, because I think this is something really worth diving into. This, you can see why it caught my attention. Sometimes I get home at the end of the night and I have literally not moved from my computer, but my brain has not stopped.
Yeah.
It's decisions from the moment I wake up in the morning. So that decision fatigue is real. Look at that. I mean, it is real.
No, that's an interesting point. One of the things I've found, and the reason I try to keep myself on a good schedule of working out, is it's one of the few times I can get my brain to calm down, right?
Yeah.
I used to say, I think when we first met, I started playing guitar, and now I've added the bass because I can't do that and think about the client problems and running the office at the same time. I cannot think about both. Now, I'm a type A person. My brain is spinning as I'm trying to play guitar, but that's a problem for another day. But it's something that at least gets my mind off of running the business and being an attorney.
I think it actually frees your subconscious a little bit.
Yeah.
We've talked about this too. In the winter, it's snowboarding because, I don't look like a snowboarder, but trust me. And in the summer, it's motorcycle because I have to pay attention.
Yeah.
If it doesn't turn my brain off, it frees that subconscious, but it has to be something that is physically engaging my body in something that is completely different than during the day.
And I've heard my wife say that about driving the stick. Is like she feels like she's a better driver when she had a stick shift because you have to pay more attention than when you're driving an automatic. Now me, I'm type A or klutz or both. I don't know. I could never get the hang of it, but
I think the key learning there is it does take something because otherwise you're self-destruct. Going back to decisions or help, you have to make them. You spend a large part of your day in help.
I think even this podcast is a great example, right? Because we made the decision to start the podcast, but the decision of, are we ready to launch or being delay, right? Is there enough, or is there enough planned? Is there enough marketing planned? Or do we need to wait and kick it out a week or two and all of those things, right? And you can easily find yourself in a situation where you're kicking the can so far down the road that you've lost all the momentum. Or sometimes you just launch and go, we're going to improve as we go. And I think in a day...
You can put that in the comments too.
Yeah, if there's room for improvement, be nice. We're human, but still, there's room for growth. I suspect, and maybe I've said this before, but I suspect that in a day and age with so much AI stuff getting put out there, and we talked about AI in the last episode, I think there is room for some human realness. And that includes the fact that humans make mistakes. Like, it's not a perfectly polished, perfectly scripted, we're going to read from. It's real. And I think that's okay, at least in certain contexts, right? It's okay for a podcast. It may not be okay in your $50,000 contract. So it's like there's room for 80% is good enough, and no, this has got to be exactly right. And I think that's got to be part of that decision-making kind of framework.
That's where the 80-20 rule came from.
Hey, and maybe more of us type A go-getters, entrepreneurs need to remember to apply that. If 80% is good enough, go for it, launch. I tell people all the time, is when I'm talking to new entrepreneurs, yes, I think you should write a business plan. I think you should do it yourself. I don't think you should have AI do it. It's a lot like when you were a little kid in elementary school and you had to go do your math homework. It does you absolutely no good if somebody does it for you. And I think that's the same of writing a business plan. And at the same time, I will be honest with you and tell you, from the day you actually open, that business plan is going to change minute by minute. But it is a thinking exercise that you need to go through. It shouldn't delay you from launching, but it should be an exercise that you do. Some things are like that, where it shouldn't delay you, but you should think through it. And other things are, no, this is a critical decision. Take your time.
Absolutely agree with that. They're critical decisions. But if they get to the point where they are delaying you from moving forward, then that may be the biggest decision of all to make. When is it an impediment and when is it benefit?
Here's a concrete example. We've probably all heard the expression slow to hire and quick to fire. And what I find working with small businesses is we are doing the exact opposite. We are incredibly quick to hire because, oh my God, we found somebody. Hire them right away. Get them started yesterday. And then we are incredibly slow to fire. And it becomes an impediment because over and over again, I hear the story of this person's not working out. They don't work well with me. They don't listen. They're not trainable. They're not manageable. But because it's a small business and therefore a small team, I know their family, their spouse, their pets, their life story, their ups, their downs, everything that's coming up. You've gotten to know them on such a human level that even though you know they're not working, you feel horrible for having to let them go. And so you freeze and you don't make the decision because the decision is hell.
Yeah.
And by the time you finally do pick up the phone and call me, you make the decision, it's, hey, did we document any of the performance issues? Have we done any of the things we need to do to dot our I's and cross our T's so that if you do fire this person, it doesn't come back to bite you? Oh, no, I haven't done any of that because I thought I could maybe magically wave the wand and fix it.
That makes me face it.
And now you've got this person that you're like, okay, you could fire them, right? Hopefully 99% of the time they're an employee at will. You can probably fire them. But now I'm worried about all these other legal issues and all these things that they might bring up. Because what I end up telling people is happy workers don't complain and don't cause problems. Your happy person that wants to be an independent contractor is probably, I can tell you all the legal reasons why they're not, but they're probably not going to be a problem. It's the disgruntled, often former worker that will make your life hell, even more so than the decision you were kicking the can down the road on.
Yeah. Decisions are hell.
Decisions are absolutely hell.
So, hopefully, I'll insert. I have a favorite graphic. I did not originate it, but it's a Venn diagram, and I've seen it several places, but I have my branded version, right? It's a Venn diagram. One circle is hell yes. One circle is hell no. And where they overlap is hell.
Because so many of the decisions we have to make are not a very clear-cut hell yes or hell no.
Exactly. So I've started doing it in two parts because if that hell is larger than the hell yes or the hell no, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
The goal is to get that hell segment as small as possible. It never goes away. It never goes away. Just welcome to small business. But if you can minimize it, and that's what the professionals in your life, the colleagues, the mentors, the networking, you again, back to that trusted advisor, that phrase that I really hate, but it is so true. People can maybe kind of help you navigate that, just because you've got to sometimes just talk it out, I feel.
No, absolutely. We talked in the last episode about AI and kind of using that to talk some of these things out with the right parameters and things like that in place. One of the ways we early on really got to be friends was a novel and a round table and being just able to talk out some of these business issues that, we're in different industries, but everybody encounters. I'm sure you can give us some examples in marketing of places where the hell yes and the hell no, there's just this giant, massive, what do we do? Like your decision is hell, like where it's like, okay, but we got to figure out something because the product people or the service folks are ready to launch. Legal's got a contract ready to go. What's holding us up?
Sometimes the business owner started out talking about the hats that you wear. You're not a genius. You got to figure out if you're the problem. You're creating hell, and a lot of times I see that.
I don't know about you, but one of the things I figured out is I don't really like managing people. I don't necessarily like having people interrupt my day with questions and what about this and how do you want that kind of a thing.
I could have interrupted you. No, so I can very much see why you don't like those interruptions. You're perfectly capable of losing your train of thought on your own.
Perfectly capable of losing it all by own and going down 5 other rabbit holes.
And I think we're going to leave this one in this episode because I've already edited one of these moments out.
I told you in the last episode, so in case it's not obvious, of course, like most podcast productions, we're doing multiple episodes in one recording session. And I told you, let's see how competent I am as an attorney after a couple of these. And so, if nothing else, blame the bartender and drink responsibly.
You're a lot more fun as a trusted advisor, though.
Hey, as long as I remember attorney-client confidentiality, it is all good.
Absolutely. And I think that's just as much a part of the conversation as anything else. There's so much of owning your own business that is difficult. Your friends and family may not get it. You're working harder than you've ever worked for anybody else.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. You gotta have people you enjoy the journey with.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, because I know my bartender husband is probably listening, it doesn't mean friends and family aren't the journey. You need those professional contacts.
Yeah, absolutely a part of the journey, right? You do the weight that you take home. Like, I'd be lying if I said it doesn't impact them, right? Of course it does. But if they haven't been in that entrepreneur's shoe, they don't understand it in the same way as somebody going through it.
Yeah.
The decisions you have to make, I used hiring or firing as an example earlier, like the weight of having to let somebody go or fire somebody when you know all of that about their personal life.
That's hard.
That is hard, right? I had that conversation with a number of clients. The weight of, I've tried everything to save Joe employee and I just can't do it anymore. And then Joe employee turns around with some crazy outlandish claim and demand letter, right? That's hard. The disgruntled client of, I've tried everything to make this client happy. Nothing I do is going to be good enough. I'm finally going to cut ties, and now they're demanding something outlandish, right? Those things are hard. You carry that stuff home. You can't help but to.
Well, but not only do you carry it home, it's really hard not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Because your business, your creation.
Yeah, we're not corporate, right? It's very much us. It's personal. The number of times I've gotten calls from people saying, oh my God, somebody left a crazy Google review and these things aren't true. I think it's defamation. What do I do? And you take that personally. That can be both the joy and the downside of a small business is when they're great, it feels great. It's interesting that as an attorney, because of client confidentiality, I don't ever expect to be like on the front page of some magazine of, oh yeah, did some amazing thing for a client, right? Like that's just not the role that we play. It is very much behind the scenes, watching your clients get recognized, Columbus CEO or whatever the magazine awards might be. And that's awesome. And you accept that, but then you also have, and you're going to have the client from hell, right? Where it's like nothing was good enough. No decision was good enough. No advice was good enough, right?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that hasn't had that. I just don't. You have to deal with it. Even sometimes the good clients, budget changes or industry changes, things change and you lose them. So you can't control that. There's so much you can't control.
Sitting here at the time of recording, I told my wife the other night, nonprofits are frankly a shit show right now. The funding for nonprofits is crazier than it was even during the height of the pandemic. And so, lose some of those clients just because they got to decide between keeping that program running and serving their constituents, keeping folks on staff, or keeping legal around or keeping marketing around. And they're having to make those tough decisions in the midst of grants getting yanked left and right and donor dollars drying up. That stuff happens, right? That's a part of it. Then you get back to, okay, so what's the decision I as the business owner now have to make around the marketing to replace that client, right? The pricing to make up for this or whatever it might be. But you got to figure out how to make that decision. It's a decision that's got to be made pretty quickly. You got to move pretty fast on some of these things.
You got to move fast on. But I think we downplay that a lot on how fast sometimes you really do have to move.
Well, this is why so often I tell people, don't bring legal in at the last minute. I don't know how often this happens in your world in marketing, but people will come into my office all the time. It's like, oh yeah, we've worked out all the details, got it all here, the bullet points. We just need the attorney to write the contract. I'm like, it does not actually work that way at all. You have not agreed on all the details, and now I've got to be the person gumming up the works because you've come to me with 3 bullet points, and I'm like, I need a ton more information to put this together for you.
Well, at least you get something. I usually get the clients that have nothing in writing. Give me a couple of bullet points to work with.
It's like, do they at least know their brand colors?
No. But it's real. You've got to have something. You gotta have something. So anyway, that kind of digresses fast. But that's part of the challenge. I think pulling those things out, helping them understand, because no matter what you think, unless legal, unless marketing, unless medicine, unless HR is your zone of genius, you don't have all the I's dotted.
Yeah.
You just don't. I can't even imagine the situation. So you got to go through some of that. What you do have to have is your business plan. You have to have why you're in business, who you're selling. You have to have some of those basics.
Yeah.
And whether it's legal, marketing, HR, whatever, until you've got some of that, you're just making it harder for those of us who do have to work for you, right?
So let's try to make this a little bit practical.
Yeah, pull this right back in.
Yeah. So when you're working with people from a marketing standpoint, how do you help them make decisions about their marketing?
A lot of times it's listening. The best relationships are the ones where I can get them to talk and I can ask a few questions, because then I can start to pull patterns out and I can start to hear things they don't even hear themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So those are the best relationships. The ones who can't talk about why they're in business, they don't know where they want to go.
Yeah.
They don't have a reason for being. Why are you doing this?
They had some idea that they thought this was going to make a lot of money.
And don't get me wrong, I'm thinking instances right now with clients I'm working with where the clients aren't the marketers, really not even the person that you want talking to the clients, but they are innovators, they're entrepreneurs, they're creative thinkers, they're inventors.
Okay.
That's all good. What do you want to do with it? Somewhere you got to draw something again. That's that blank piece of paper. You got to put something on that paper. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I think that's why so often I'll tell people I want to work with the passion person. You come into my office, I'm going to ask you, what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
What are your long-term goals for this business, and what are you most worried about? What's keeping you up at night? Because so often that will tell me what you need from a legal standpoint. And also tell me who else I need to refer you to. Oh, what you're worried about is a marketing issue, right? We can talk about trademarks so the cows come home. I need to send you to Karen. What you're worried about is an accounting issue. We could talk about numbers. I need to send you to somebody that actually does that.
There is no wrong answer except no answer.
Yeah, and having no answer. Sometimes I'll see this with people that schedule a consultation and they're got 12 business ideas. They haven't decided which one they actually want to start yet. And it's really too early to be talking to an attorney. Or, I think I just want to buy a franchise. Nothing wrong with buying a franchise.
No.
What kind do you want to buy? Oh, I don't know. I was thinking this or this. Or these 6 industries are in my budget. Okay. You're not passionate about any of this. You're just hoping I don't want to say get rich quick scheme, because you do know it's going to take some work, but you're not even going into it with the right attitude to even begin to have this conversation.
You can come back and say, running a business is my passion. I don't care what business it is, but there has to be a passion there somewhere.
Yeah, and there are those analytical people out there that
you can work with that.
Yeah, just trying to figure out a strategy behind it. Like there is that type A nerd of there's a strategy, great. Like running the business to where, right? We're not running on a treadmill. Are we running on the track? Are we running a cross-country route? Like where are we trying to get to?
A lot of times we'll say it's not all about money, but money is how we keep track. It's really just an exercise in how to make money. That's okay too. We can work with that. There's got to be something there that is your motivation, because if you don't have your motivation and know what your zone of genius is, you cannot ever hope to inspire or attract talent to help you get there. Talent.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. Even for a solopreneur, you have to have this, I don't want to say support system necessarily, but what it is, no one gets there totally on their own. They just don't.
No, even for somebody like me that kind of likes being the lone wolf, you still have those people behind you, behind the scenes, that are really helping to make some of those things kind of take and go. And at the end of the day, if you haven't figured out what you're passionate about, then you don't have a framework for making any decisions that we're talking about. And you also don't have anything that's going to keep you going when the going gets tough.
Absolutely.
And if nothing else, if you're listening to this podcast, you know the going gets tough, right? Watch small businesses
That's the only
survive the pandemic.
Count on 2 things: taxes, debt
to taxes, right?
And number 3 is the going gets tough, right?
There you go. I don't know why. My mom used to say, there's only 3 things I have to do in life: stay black, pay taxes, and die. And it's just such a weird thing to tell a kid. It always just stuck out. Yeah, I guess you got a point there. Why are you telling me this? I'm 12, but if you don't have something that you're passionate about and keeping you going,
clearly you're successful. You're still black.
Check that one off the list. And I haven't gotten any nasty letters from the IRS thanks to my accountant. So, check that off the list. And
exactly. To reel this back in, can you really overthink it?
I guess for me, at the end of the day, it comes down to your timeline. Right. If this is do I publish the blog post this week? Yeah, you can overthink that, right? We're sitting here recording on a Wednesday. Make a decision.
Late
on a Wednesday. If it's do I hire the candidate A or candidate B? I don't know if you can overthink that one. You might lose one of those candidates by overthinking. But was that the right candidate for you if they took the first job offer that came by instead of waiting to hear from you? You overthink a decision to buy a business. No, I wish clients would think through that one a lot more. Instead of just signing whatever gets stuck in front of them. Newsflash, if you've already signed it, I probably can't help you fix it.
Right. Just hearing that litany of issues kind of comes down to there's no easy answer. Welcome to small business.
Yeah. It's an adventure that I don't think either one of us would ever give up, but you do have to be prepared for the adventure. And even if you've been doing it for 20 years, it is an adventure that does not change. It's an adventure that does not get old.
No, never. It can't. It never stays the same.
Exactly, right? It is constantly changing, constantly throwing something new at you. It is truly like the game of Monopoly or whatever that will never end until you just decide to retire and you're done. But
that's fair. It's one I would not give up.
Absolutely.
So I would say that. So, what do you have to say? Give me one for the road here.
I think it's here's to the people that stick with it. Despite the fact that decisions are held, despite the fact that we probably haven't given you any great answers to making those decisions, if nothing else, know that you are not alone. And as the saying goes, find your tribe.
True that, and I would say that is actually both your slingshot and your safety net. It truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is. Find your tribe.
Yeah. So drop us a note, show comments, let us know where have you found your tribe at, what are those tough decisions that you've been wrestling with, and until next time, make sure to join us at the bar.
Thanks for joining, Executive.
Well, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Executive Poor Podcast. Make sure you check out the show notes on executivepoorpodcast.com. And make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and tell all your friends to check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, even on YouTube. Check out the video versions. And you can find us on social media as well. Until next time, the bar is open.